Hi everyone, good morning. It's Margaret Manning here. Welcome to 60 and Me. You know, I say good morning, but I'm probably talking to some of you in the afternoon or in the evenings or whenever you tune in to 60 and Me, and I really want to thank you for doing that. I know a lot of women say they are doing other things, maybe ironing or having breakfast, and they're just listening in the background. So if you can't see my face, hi everybody. Hope you're doing great. I really do hope you're having a good day. You know, this energizes me every time I get the opportunity to talk to you and share with you something that maybe is going to stay with you today in the back of your mind and give you some different perspective on life in your 60s. You know, I was thinking about this when I started 60 and Me, that we are a fairly unique group of women. You know, there's a lot of focus on the 50s, 40s, and, you know, people that are not quite in this transitional state. But once we get to be 60, there's a difference. There really is a difference. And I try to explain this to people who have got sites that are trying to target, you know, a broad spectrum between like 50 and 70. It just doesn't really work as well. Now, we have a lot of women who are in their 50s, and that, you know, that's great because they're thinking about 60s. But it's those women who are thinking about what's going to happen next that, you know, is really important. That's a big transition in the 60s. Don't know why I rambled on about that. It's just kind of why I do this. I just, you know, enjoy being with a group of women who are special and unique, and trying really hard to make something of this time of their life. You know, we're serious. You know, as Brené Brown says, you know, it's time to just stop messing around. This is the time when, you know, midlife taps you on the shoulder and says, hey, get moving. So anyway, here we are, and I'm having my cup of tea. I didn't want you to think I hadn't a cup of tea here. I've got a mystery cup of tea today. It's really interesting. It's, I don't know if you can see, it's like a greeny color. And I was at IKEA a few days ago, and I picked up, they've got all these new things that I hadn't seen before. And this is called IKEA PS Instant Drink. Now, I'm not sure it's actually a tea, but it says it's got matcha, which is a tea, lingonberry, famous IKEA, flavors and cultures. I have no idea exactly what that means because everything in the back is in German, but I think it's good for you. So it's a really fruity drink. It's probably one that you could drink cold as well as hot, but I'm enjoying it. It's really lovely, super fruity. You don't want to put any sugar in it. It's probably got some sugar in there. So anyway, we can deal with a little bit of sugar, right? Everything in moderation. So anyway, talking about life after 50 and 60, I just picked up an article here by one of our bloggers, Debbie Hensley. Debbie was writing about, she has a website that she started called Third. And this is about the third act of your life. So she says, you know, she's been through all these experiences and established priorities, gained wisdom, hopefully, and now she's in her third and living life, you know, without adult supervision. That was actually, I must give credit to the person that did that. Kat Wheeler, I think, was one of our writers who is in Bali, and she said this is how she's living her life, without adult supervision, which I think is great. Anywho, Debbie wrote this great article about just 5 things to relax and enjoy, 5 things you can do to relax and enjoy life in your 60s, and things that you stop worrying about. All right, hands up. Who's a worrier? I'm not a warrior. Well, I'm going to go with the worrier sometimes because I do worry about stuff and really don't need to. You know, I tell myself this when I'm in the middle of a concern or a worry. But anyway, this is what Debbie focuses in on this article of things that you don't have to worry about anymore. You just have a greater appreciation for what is. So the first thing is not to worry about fashion rules. So you can wear whatever your heart desires. I've got my fancy beads on today. You know, you can wear whatever colors you want. You don't have to wait to, you can wear white after Labor Day. You can wear leggings. You can do whatever your heart desires. Now, there are some, you know, guidelines if you want to follow a few fashion rules, like knowing your body shape and colors that work for you. But on the whole, you can just throw those fashion rules kind of to the side and just pick them selectively. Number 1, whatever feels good, whatever you feel confident in. The next thing is to not worry about grocery store attire. It's kind of the same theme, but it's basically, you know, if you're going to show up at the grocery store to buy some you know, some bread or milk or something really simple, and you've got your baggy pants on, your yoga pants, and a maybe t-shirt that you've, you know, just walked around the block with, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If someone bumps into you who knows you and they make any comment, it's like, whatever. I'm just focused on comfort. And if, you know, half the time they'll be in the same outfit these days. You know, we're so less stressed about what we look like. And in our 60s, I think this is a prime transition that we make. Of course, many of us want to look nice and wear fun clothes and colors that we love. But on the whole, we can just go to the grocery store wearing our sandals and yoga pants or whatever our heart desires, and just enjoy, you know, having a little conversation, you know, just being relaxed. And I think that's a really important one, to not stop worrying about your grocery store attire. Another thing is to not worry about people's opinions about your family. Now, okay, this is a delicate one, of course, but, you know, when you're younger, a lot of your relationships are contextual. You know, they're friends of your kids or friends of, you know, from school or from work. And they're people that knew you in a certain way, in a certain context. You know, maybe your family isn't quite the normal, typical family. I mean, in my opinion, name one that is. There's just no such thing as a normal family anymore. But, you know, as soon as, you know, people get nosy about your family and your business when you're kind of in that world. But afterwards, honestly, it can stop. And Debbie gives a really fun story here. She says that after, I think, 30 years of marriage, she and her husband decided to separate for a while. And what that meant was just separate, do their own thing. And it wasn't a marriage breakdown or, you know, nobody was dying, and it wasn't really like a big thing. It was just that they had things they wanted to do that the other person didn't. So they just took off different directions. And she said that in the neighborhood it was like, oh my gosh, somebody's sick, you know, they've had a fight, you know, they're breaking up, they're going to divorce. And she goes, not at all. And she really stopped explaining it because, well, number one, maybe they didn't even know where they were going. They were just kind of feeling a need to separate for a bit and have fun individually, or maybe they just didn't want to explain it anymore, or didn't feel any particular need to explain it anymore. So I thought that was kind of cool to have done that, and you're not worried about people's opinions of you know, your life. Another thing that Debbie says she's given up in her 60s is getting everybody to agree. And this is so true. It's like I sit here sometimes thinking, oh, I wish my sons would get together more often, or that we could organize a family reunion. Wouldn't that be cool? And of course, it doesn't work that way because they're on their own journeys, you know, their own lives. I heard a really, really good talk today. It was a TED talk by Annie Lamott, and I hope I've got her name right, writer, brilliant. And it was just about truths in life that you learn in your 60s. And she said something like, it's actually disrespectful to be running alongside your children with the chapstick and sunscreen, suntan lotion. You know, that you got to let them run, you got to let them go, and you've got to stop expecting that they're all going to agree that a trip to Florida would be so cool, and just do what most people agree with. Find some consensus. And she said it happened to her, and you know, in that respect, for her, life is so much simpler because she doesn't try to get everyone to agree. Everyone has their own point of view. And there's a final thing that she talks about, which I think we'll get mixed opinions on, but it's just she doesn't really care about keeping up with technology. She doesn't need to know the latest and greatest iPhone or operating system or the latest photo app. It's just not that important anymore. You know, she's got a set of things that work for her, and no need to really worry about it anymore. If you like technology like I do, of course, I'm always keeping up. Great. But if not, don't worry about it, and just, you know, really honestly, just do your own thing. And don't try to, you know, be cool and know all the slang and all the language and all the hand gestures and whatever your grandkids and your children are doing. Just be you. Be your clumsy, beautiful, not very tuned in sometimes self. And even though I keep up with stuff, I still can't do WhatsApp. Trust me. We have a meetup group, and every time we have to join people in WhatsApp, I have to get Yolanda to help me because I just don't get it. I never have. I mean, I know how to use it, but setting people up and stuff, it doesn't matter. It's just not important to know all the latest and greatest. Anyway, I hope that you found that useful. I found this article really fun. Go ahead and have a look at it and just read it through in Debbie's voice, because she has her own unique style. And it's really, I think it's very eye-opening and very positive to give us some thoughts about how to live our lives in our 60s and what to stop worrying about. Okay, everyone. Well, I hope that's been helpful. I do hope that you're okay, everyone. You know, I just wish they're going to invent it one day so that we can actually see each other, and I can talk to you, you know, one-on-one somehow, and we can get to know each other personally. But for now, this is what we've got, and I hope you found it useful. And I'd love to ask you, you know, kind of what are your favorite ways to relax? You know, what are you not worrying about anymore? How are you relaxing and just having fun in your 60s? I do hope that you're doing great. Have a wonderful day. Sit back, have your cup of tea, and ease gently into the day, and tell us how you're going to relax today. Have a wonderful time, everyone, and I'll see you all again very soon. Bye-bye for now.